I could be with anyone, you're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
You could be with anyone, and I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on, people? How's everybody doing? Hopefully everybody's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome to the SpeakPipe show. As usual, we're going to give a little time for everybody to load into the room. Then we're going to get started with some SpeakPipes. We had some SpeakPipes come through, and we're going to review those messages, and we're going to have a great time doing it. All right? I'm very excited about getting to it. We have some people that we haven't heard from in a bit, so we're going to talk to those people or get those people's input. But before we get started, let's listen to some tunes and get ready. Buckle up, Buttercup, because here we go.
Scream. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Scrolling through the tube, all the thumbnails flash. Cats doing flips, trains gone bad, they crash. But now you landed here where the beats don't miss. Yeah, algorithm point, but you hit my abyss. Oh. Could've clicked the cooking show. Could've learned to tie a boat. But you chose this flow. So let's go, yeah. You could be watching any YouTube channel, but you're here with me, grab the remote, dismantle. Lost in the pixels, but the vibe too ample. You could've clicked away, now you're stuck in my scandal. ASMR whispers, mukbang feast, unbox therapy or conspiracy priest. But now you're in the trap, this rap's your feast. Chewing on the words, every line unleashed. A million views, a billion streams, but don't hit the vein of these digital dreams. You could surf the net, but you stayed in my schemes. Caught up in my rhythm, my beat supreme. Could be watching any YouTube channel, but you're here with me, grab the remote, dismantle. Lost in the pixels, but the vibe too ample. You could've clicked away, now you're stuck in my scandal.
All right. Big shout out to Just Scrapping. That was a Just Scrapping hit. Thank you so much, Just Scrapping. We are ready to rock and roll, folks. We have some interesting speak pipes come in. Last week, over the course of last week, we talked about step parents. We talked about crazy people showing up to cruises, buying a drink package, drinking they fill, and then get mad because the booze did what booze do, and they got loaded and jacked up, and then they want to blame everybody. Crazy. All right, but let's go through some of the speak pipes and hear what folks have to say. We had somebody who called in, a long-time listener, long-time subscriber, Tanya Kata, Mrs. Kata in the house. This is what she had to say.
Hi, James. It's Tanya. I haven't been able to talk to you in a while, even though I have been listening to your shows. They've been really great. I like the new format. But I haven't done a speak pipe in a while, so I said, let me call in and see what's going on. I hate to beat a dead horse, but I'm just listening to a podcast that I like, and somebody had brought up all the allegations against Mary, and it just doesn't sit right with me. Like on both sides. On the one side, it doesn't sit right with me that everybody, i.e. McKelty, has these air quote allegations and things of abuse from Mary, and I'm not seeing it. And I actually, one of the episodes came on just randomly from way back in the day. It was Mary's 40th birthday, and like all the kids like loved Mary, and oh my God, they always wanted to sit next to her anytime they would go anywhere. She'd be like, "Who wants to ride with me?" "I do." And even it was funny, Robin was like, "Who wants to ride with me?" And it was crickets, and Dayton was like, "I'll ride with you, Mom." But it's like everybody loved Mary, so I'm like, why? It's just not founded to me. And then on the other side of it, why does she not defend herself? So then it's like, is it true? Because why is she not? I'll be damned if you're going to be out there with my name dragged through the streets like that.
She got cut off. But yeah, I agree. I mean, when it comes to Mary, I think that is one of the things that kind of annoys me about the whole situation is that you have people who are attacking her. And when they attack her, I've said this before, like I'm willing to give anybody the benefit of the doubt when they come out and make accusations. But at the same time, I think that it has to be respected that you have to take into account when people are making accusations and they refuse to substantiate said accusation. Like if you going to come out and accuse somebody of something, then be willing to tell the story. If you're not willing to tell the story, then maybe you shouldn't come out and say it. If you're not ready, you're not ready. But don't come out and say that you blame them for something and then you don't want to tell the story because you're not comfortable or I don't want to ruin people's careers because if I come out and I drop the real dope on what actually happened and this show will come to a close immediately, then why are you saying anything at all? If that's your real concern, why are you saying anything at all? Why even bring it up? If you're actually concerned that if it gets out what she did to me and it's so terrible, if it gets out, they're going to cancel the show and it's going to ruin my parents' lives or whatever, right? Their financial standing or their ability to make money or whatever the case may be. And I don't want to do that to them. Then why did you open your mouth in the first place? And that's kind of, that's where I'm drawing the line. I mean, that's where I'm drawing the line. Like, I think that if you're going to come out and say it, you got to be willing to say it. Otherwise, it's not, I mean, frankly, and I mean this, it's not fair to the accused if you come out and say, accuse them of something, especially something heinous like child abuse, diddling kids. I got to be careful how I say that. No disrespect on it. But if you're going to accuse somebody of things like that rise to that level, I think you need to substantiate those things. Like, I don't think that's just something that you just throw out there and you just park. I'm going to park this here and I'm going to leave it. And I'm not going to talk about it. And then the other person who is accused, they don't have the ability to defend themselves because you never actually came out and accused them of anything. You just implied, you insinuated. And so they kind of get stuck, and it's not fair to them. Like, it's not fair to Mary, because if you're going to accuse her of something, come out with your whole chest and say what you say she did and let her defend herself, right? If you're not willing to do that, then don't. That's kind of where I'm at. But we got a Tanya part 2.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. As far as the step parenting thing, I have friends who are step parents. My brother is a stepdad. And I think the important thing, especially if there's children from, when there's children involved, I think it's important for the parent who's the biological parent of the children, they have to advocate for that step parent, because being a step parent is a choice. You're choosing to raise somebody else's children and raise them as your own, because you love that person and that person is expecting you to love their children because you love them. And that's a big ask. And because they're choosing to do that and be there for them emotionally, financially, and honestly, when you're the custodial parent who's in day in and day out, you are paying a lot more money for that child than the parent who sees them every other weekend. I mean, unless you have a setup where it's like 50-50 on the finances, the custodial parent really ends up paying more day in and day out. So if that step parent is paying that, like, it's very important that the biological parent advocates for that step parent and advocates, that the children respect them and appreciate them, for who they are in their life.
I agree with that. I think that when we're talking about step parents, especially if everybody's on the adult, their adult side, and you're able to co-parent, it's recognition that your former partner is going to have partners moving forward. And if those partners in that relationship get serious and you realize that person is going to be a part of your child's life, then it only really helps your child to not have to feel like they're in conflict with that bonus parent, Because at the end of the day, ultimately, it's about the comfort of your kids. And if your kids feel like, well, if I like Mrs. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so, then that's a betrayal to my mom. Or if I get along with Mr. Jones, then somehow I'm disrespecting my father. That puts the kids in a very precarious situation. But especially if they're in a situation where they living in Mr. Jones or Mrs. Agnes's house, right? Like the baby mama or the custodial mom or the custodial dad lives with the bonus parent, and they feel like they're going to rebel against the bonus parent because I'm taking up mom or dad's side because you know custodial parent mom or custodial parent dad are with this other person, so I'm going to make that person feel uncomfortable around me. It only complicates that child's life, because at the end of the day, part of the reason why kids need protection and they need people looking out for them is because they don't really have a whole lot of power, real power in this situation. And they're kind of subject to whatever the parents want to do. So if mom wants to go out and date a bunch of dudes, or if dad want to go out and date a bunch of low-level ladies, then there's nothing really the child can do in that situation. So it does, like to Tanya's point, I think it does help. It goes a long way if you have the other parent who's on board and it is at least acting cordial to the bonus parent. And it will be fantastic if they recognize what the bonus parent is choosing to do. They're making sacrifices. They're making choices. As a bonus parent, especially a bonus parent who's going to be with a custodial parent, you have to recognize that that bonus parent is kicking in a lot of their time, money, energy, effort, love, compassion, and making sacrifices for that child, your child. And so you have to recognize that. I think that's a thing. But let's go to Tanya 3. Tanya with the good
One other
points.
thing on the step parent thing. I've seen it work both ways, where it could end up being a positive and then also where it could end up being a negative. And in the positive, it's, you like I said, you have the biological parent that does advocate for the step parent who has chosen to step up, and be a real parent in that child's life. And so they advocate that, the children respect that step parent and appreciate them for the role that they play in their life. And maybe the step parent and the biological parent have a child together, and when that child is added, it kind of just like seals the family together, and they start to feel like a real unit. Whereas on the opposite side, if there's no advocacy for that step parent and you're not allowing that step parent to parent your children, you're keeping this divide between your children and that step parent, to where the kids feel like, you're not my dad, I don't have to listen to you, whatever. And you're not advocating for that parent, and then a child between the biological and the step parent comes into the relationship. Now that step parent just gravitates to their biological child and now doesn't feel any kind of connection or obligation to their stepchildren. Now they have their own child they can focus on. And that biological parent kind of set that up to be that way because they caused that divide.
Well, I mean, that is kind of the thing too, is that you have to be careful about what you ask for, because I say once you teach somebody something, they learn how to use it. And I'm very hesitant about promoting the idea, even for natural parents, to teach your child to disrespect or be willing to abandon a parent or even another adult who is in that capacity or role as a bonus parent or whatever. Because once your child cracks that line, once they break that egg, right? And they get their mind is used to the idea of, I get to disrespect this parent or this adult or this authority figure because it makes me feel good. And I have the support of my parent in doing it. And it's the right thing to do because it's okay. If it's okay for them to disrespect Mr. Jones, who's making sacrifices for them to be in a house or have, after school projects or programs and clothes and school books and a safe place to study. If it's okay for them to disrespect them, it's not going to be long before it's okay for them to disrespect their mama or their daddy or anybody else who comes into their life, teachers at school, because you've taught them to break down that barrier. Once they've crossed that Rubicon, it's very difficult for them to be able to put that. You can't put that rabbit back in the hat, right? You can't put the horse back in the barn, as they used to say. So I would be very careful about teaching your kid how to disrespect adults. And then when a year, 2 years, you're going to sit around looking surprised that they disrespecting you too. That's, So I think that it's important that you may try to maintain a united front. I think that that's an important thing too. Is that, I'm not necessarily saying if somebody's, gripping your kid up, you don't say anything. But what I am saying is that you find out what's going on, and as best you can, you guys try to work out a way for both of you to be able to be involved with that child and that child's discipline and what's going on with them. But excellent points, Tanya. We have Megatron. Let's check out Megatron.
Hey, my take. Just to go over tonight's live. Carnival should definitely appeal this decision, and I hope it's reversed because she's responsible for her actions. She purchased the package. She slid her cards 15 times. Got wasted off tequila again. And I'm from North Carolina. Okay, we chugged Everclear and moonshine. Even we know not to try to take 15 shots of tequila to the head. It's just common sense, Common sense ain't so common, I guess.
Oh, fiddly sticks. Yeah, cut off. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. Moonshine and Everclear. Woo! But yeah, if you're in a situation where you're doing this kind of thing, like Megatron said, and this is the point I was making, this is with regard to the 45-year-old nurse from Sacramento, California, that went on a Carnival cruise. Over the course of 9 hours, she had 15 shots of tequila. Sounds like a lot. I still stand on the fact I don't think that's a lot of booze. That's not a lot. Over 9 hours, that averages to like 1.5 shots an hour. So no, like that's not crazy, But he's going to talk about power hour. But she was going to different bars. She was sitting there being social. She was enjoying her cruise. She was sliding her card to access the drink package that she purchased. And I'm saying, I'm just saying from my perspective, if I've gone, when I've gone on cruises and the drink package was available, I assessed whether that drink package was right for me based on how much, you game it out. Like, how much do I plan on drinking? Right. And if I'm not going to be drinking every day, especially heavily every day, the drink package to me just isn't worth it. It's just money I'm throwing away. So why would I buy the drink package? The only way I could see me buying a drink package if I was planning on getting up. I'm on a 3-day cruise at 10 o'clock in the morning or somewhere thereabouts. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to start running my tab. And I'm going to do that until about 2 o'clock in the morning when the thing closes down. And I'm not saying I'm going to just be lugging, but it's going to be consistent. Right? Because I'm trying to get my money's worth and I've come to have a good time. And that's what the good time I've chosen. So it doesn't make sense to me that all of a sudden everybody's surprised. You know what I mean? Like you sitting there, I'm going to buy the drink package. I'm going to go up and I'm only going to have a couple. I'm going to keep ordering shots of tequila. And then when I get drunk, I'm going to sit around and be looking at the security guard and my roommates. You're my friend for 30 years. You're my friend for 30 years. And I can't believe I got drunk because I drank all that tequila.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
That's what happens when you drink 15 shots of tequila. Especially if you're not used to that. Like, I don't know where like I said, I've said this before. I don't know where my tolerance is because frankly, I don't test my tolerance anymore. I don't have shit to prove to nobody. I'm not trying to prove nothing to nobody. If I start feeling woozy, I stop. I start feeling like I ain't myself. Like, all right, it's good. Because after a certain point, they say this about money. Like, if you have a certain level of money, after a while, it doesn't even matter anymore. Because it's not like you're going to be like, okay, now that I have $1 billion versus $100 billion. Now I'm totally going to live a different life. No, you pretty much lived the same life you was living before. If you are already starting to get tipsy, you're already at the peak of your fun, right? Everything after that is going to just be a bad time. There's the risk of memory loss, the risk of you falling down, getting hurt, the risk of you saying or doing something that you're going to regret in the morning and have to deal with consequences in the morning. There's also the very real possibility that you're going to be hungover and sick the next day. And if you're drinking yourself to the point where you have memory loss and you hungover and you passing out, like that's, you are on death's doorstep. So you need to you got to evaluate your life. And like I said, what am I trying to prove here? Right? Plus, I'm too old. Like, nobody want to see an old drunk. Like, you just falling down and falling around. Like, you hit like 40, 45. Ain't nobody really interested. Like, it's not sexy no more. Like, nobody looks at a 45-year-old man staggering around somebody like, oh, look, who's that guy? You know what I mean? Or a 45, 50-year-old woman, falling off of bar stools. Ooh, what's her number? Like, no, it's not. This shit ain't cute. This shit ain't cute. It's barely cute when you're in your 20s. In 30s, it's more permissible. But when you like 45, 50 years old, you middle-aged and you doing that kind of shit, like, come on. That is not funny. So I agree with that, Megatron. Let me go to Megatron 2 and let her finish up.
Second one, guys. So yeah, let's hold these people accountable. And working in the school system, I see it daily, guys. Oh, my child ain't passing. Well, Mom, your son, has skipped my class 6 of the last 8 months. So I don't know. I don't turn water into wine. I ain't Jesus. But everything is always somebody else's fault. Where have we seen that before? Hey, Cody. Hey, Robin. We know you're watching. Yeah, everything is always someone else's fault. I'm never responsible for my.
Oh man, it cut off. Oh man. Oh no. It seems like every time, maybe try to be on a roll and the little Kremlins come in and cut our ass off.
It's
Oh wow. Okay. Totally cut her off. But I will say this. Like I agree with her on the fact that it does, like, and this is the thing that annoys the shit out of me. Like, it just annoys me. Because with every action, there's a equal and opposite reaction, right? It may not be the reaction you expect. It may not be the reaction that's desirable, but you had to expect some type of reaction when you do certain things. And for many of us, that reaction is consequences. You do a certain thing, you don't do a certain thing, there are consequences to that action. If you study for a test and you take time and you legitimately study for a test, you might pass, you might fail, but at the end of the day, you did your best. And you can always say that you did your best. But if you absolutely positively didn't even crack the damn book and you failed the test, that's the consequence of you not studying and putting forth an effort. And because you're not studying, because you didn't put forth that effort, nobody owes you the free ride of, well, he's a nice guy, I'm gonna just go ahead and let him pass anyway. Or I'm gonna just pretend like the test didn't matter. Or, yeah, you bought the drink package, you fully intended to get plastered on the ship, Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have drank. Like, I could even understand, guys, look, I'm not unreasonable. I could understand if she said, I went down, I never drank before, ever in my life. I don't know why you would buy the drink package if you never drank before. That'd be kind of starting off at expert level. You know what I mean? But I never drank before. I went down, got the drink package, and somebody said, hey, you got to make it worthwhile. So in order to do that, I went down and I just started ordering tequila. Never had it. Didn't know what the response was going to be. I got 3 or 4 shots in with the tequila, and I realized that I was bombed. To me, that would be more realistic than somebody saying, I bought the drink package, went to different bars, sitting there having conversations, taking that shit to the head like a champ, because I have the video where she was drinking it. She wasn't, taking shots of tequila, go, oh, God, oh, wow, what am I doing? It burning the whole way down. And then she trying to suck on a lemon. No, she was drinking that tequila like it was water. She knew what it was like. She's been around, like, you've done this before. You've been around the block. This is an experience for you. You know what this is about. And so for you to sit there and pretend like you had no idea what the effects of tequila was going to be on you, like, you're 45 years old. You're a nurse. You're a nurse. You work in a medical profession. And you say you didn't understand how tequila works? Like, and that just annoys me. Like, it's just the whole thing of, like, if there was a guy who was sitting there behind the bar, and this is the part that really annoys me. If there's a guy who's sitting there behind the bar and she ordered a drink, and he came from around the bar and said, hey, you had too much to drink, lady, she would be losing her shit. Who you to tell me that I had enough? I'm a grown, independent woman, and I should be able to do whatever I want to do. And you can't tell me what to do. I don't need nobody, nursemaid me because I'm an adult, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with the dudes. Who the hell you think you are, bro? You want to tell me what to do? You want to cut me off? I know what I'm doing, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You'll be losing your mind. I'm an adult. I ordered the drink package. I could get unlimited drinks. I want to have a good time on my vacation. That's why I bought the drink package, because I want to get unlimited drinks, and I don't want nobody hassle me about how much I'm drinking, and I don't want to have to pay an exorbitant amount, because I know that I'm going to drink so much liquor that if I didn't have the drink package, I'd be walking off this boat with a $2,000 bill. That's why I got the $400 drink package. Simple as that. That's why you get the $300, $400 drink package, $500 drink package. Because I know I'm going to be on this boat drinking enough to where if I walk off this raggedy mother, I'm going to walk off with a $3,000 liquor bill, bar bill. So no, this is a deal for me. That's why you get the drink package. You don't get the drink package because you plan on drinking some Bay Breezes, 1 or 2 Bay Breezes over the course of 4 days. Like, stop that shit. You got to take, like, it just bothers me. People aren't taking responsibility. You teach people that they're not responsible for anything. You're not responsible for your bad luck. You're not responsible for your life. It's always somebody else's fault. Somebody else didn't do this or somebody else didn't do that. Somehow, some way, somebody else failed you. And it's not your failure. It's their failure, because they should have made sure that you were okay. You got to be your own damn hero. You got to save yourself. You got to look out for yourself. And more importantly, you got to take responsibility for yourself. That shit doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. And like I said, I wish I was on that jury, because I would have cussed all them people out. I'd have cussed everybody out in that damn jury about it. Well, I mean, it's up to the Carnival. They shouldn't have looked at her and saying, you've had enough to drink. She should have looked at herself and said, I had enough to drink. I've drank before. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a teetotaler. I've drank before. And I'm telling you right now, I know that I'm starting to feel woozy before anybody else around me realizes that I might be a little tipsy. I know. I know I'm not feeling right. When I get up off the bar stool to go to the bathroom or get up off the table and go down and get the bathroom, the simple shift of standing up, you realize that, oh shit, some stuff is going on, Jack. Maybe I need to slow down. In fact, if you're a real G and you have real experience, you know that you don't sit there and be just chug-a-lugging damn shots of tequila like it's no tomorrow. What you do is you make sure you're getting plenty to eat. You make sure you staying hella hydrated. You make sure the water is flowing. So even if you are drinking like straight shots of tequila, you should have a glass of water right there next to you. All kinds of stuff. Then you want to make sure you have something greasy in the morning on tap. So you try to suck up some of that liquor. You know what I mean? Don't be eating nothing greasy that night. Get some heavy bread stuff. Like you want something with bread, like pizza's great, things like that, sandwiches, things of that nature, because you want to try to suck up as much of that alcohol as possible. If you plan on power doing it, you know what I mean? Put down some of the suggestions you guys have for avoiding these kind of catastrophes. But if you're a real G and you've been doing it, you know the secrets. And the way she was drinking, like, you don't go out, if you don't make those kind of preparations that you are drinking to get earthed up, that's your whole plan. Your plan ain't to go out and have a good time and you just might be, drinking socially. You're trying to get blowed out. You try to blow your mind out if you're drinking like that. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. Man, why would you do that shit to yourself? You know what I mean? Why would you do that to yourself? But I'm going to put Megatron, if you want to call in, I'm going to put the link in. Because I know you got cut off. You guys want to call in? We'll take a couple phone calls before we bounce out. We're going to do an hour tonight. But yeah, I'm definitely not a fan of the it's nobody's fault. No, it's your fault. Well, I mean, they kept giving it to me. Yeah, because you paid them for it. It wasn't like I could even understand if it was a situation where Carnival was just giving booze away and they say, hey, you, you have to take this. You paid for that shit. You paid for that. And so that's a choice you was making. You decided to do that shit. So if you want to get bombed out, that's your right. And I say if you're on vacation, you're not hurting nobody, you're not in there trying to start fights, and you just having a good time, why should you be limited? And I'm more insulted at the fact that I haven't gotten a drink package on any time I've gone on vacation. But at the same time, I want to have the right to do it. If I so choose to do it, I want to be able to order the damn drink package if I so choose. Well, people sit there trying to, make it like I can't do something because somebody else can't hold their liquor. That's not right. Hey, Megatron, what's going on?
Hey,
What's happening?
how y'all doing? You caught me a piece of chocolate in my mouth. Hold on.
Yeah, right. That's how we do it. Yeah, right.
No, right? But yeah, James, it's so crazy. I said, Lord, I got a story for y'all today. Turn that down, Papa. But so we're talking about the cruise lady, the accountability, and then what? Last week we were talking about like the step kids and all the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I have I'm a school teacher here in Montgomery County, and so I have a student that she don't like me for the last 2 months or so. She's one of those students where if she don't get her way, she throws a fit, like this lady here, right?
Right.
And so she's been upset with me for the last 2 months because every time she's, what our grandparents called a busybody.
Right.
She's what we would call a busybody. She's every drama that goes on in the school, she's smack dab in the middle of it, right?
Oh, okay.
And so like she would, come to me a safe space. Oh, they're gonna, these girls are trying to beat my ass. Can I hide out in your room today? And at first I was like, okay, what's what's going on? Trying. And so after a while, I was like, hold on, you the problem. You the problem. So then I started, having the real hard conversations with her. You can't expect different results when you're doing the same thing. That is the definition of insanity. You
Right.
keep doing stuff and then getting people pissed off. And then I don't understand why people want to fight me, because you are messy. That's that's how I'm talking to. Like, you're being messy. And this is a natural consequence of you being messy. Now, when you acknowledge, okay, I'm being messy, I need to stop, then you can start back coming to my room, because you're not going to keep using my room as a hideout when you done stirred up all, the hornet's nest. You know what I mean? So ever since then, she's been on this, she hates Miss Suggs, whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Well, it all came to a head today because apparently it's Teacher Appreciation Week, by the way. It's all across the U.S. So if your kids are in school, even if it's just a little handwritten note, send your teacher the appreciation gift. We appreciate you. So I've been getting, like the little staff student notes from the kids or whatever. So one of the students, he was like, oh, let's get a picture in front of all of your notes. I'm like, okay. So we do the picture, and I guess he posted it on his Instagram, right? Why did this child go on under that Instagram and said some of the worst things about me? And all of my Velcro kids were able to see it. Right?
Right.
And so we have an admin who basically, oh, she's not wrong. He enables her. He enables the behavior, which every time she gets away with something, it just makes her head bigger and bigger and bigger, so to speak. And so apparently yesterday, this girl got into an altercation with a special education student where she tried to fight. This student, no consequences was given to her, right?
Wow.
So then today she makes the post about me pertaining to me. Well, they had about 150 kids all trying to tear her apart. And the admin that protects her was in between the 150 kids and her. And he also got tore up in the melee. Right? And so I'm standing there like, deer in the headlights, like I was called up. I'm like, what's happening? And all I see is shoe, hair, lashes, nails, Post-its, office plants flying everywhere. I'm like, what is going on up in here? And then they're like, no, she was talking, my kids are trying to tell me what's going on. I'm just like, and the admin, he's standing there, and there's a 7-foot tall guy. He's standing there crying. And I'm just like, what's going on? So, of course, once everything calms down, I get the gist of the story. I knew nothing about the post that was made about me. I'm like, wait, she made a post about me? They were like, no, another dude posted, appreciation, and she went under that picture and said this, and that, and that fired up over 200 of our kids because they all love you, and they were trying to get to her. He was trying to prevent it, and so he ended up getting beat up in the process. And I'm like, so you was trying to prevent a natural consequences, and now you also have a natural consequences. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
And so it just became a situation where I'm like, this nurse, whoever she is, that the student that I'm dealing with, I'm like, that's her. She's going to be that kind of person. The only thing she's learned in her high school career is I can get in trouble, cause trouble, and nothing is supposed to happen to me. I'm never supposed to get a consequence. No one can say anything to me. And I just thought, oh shit, like I've been a part of the problem until I tried to correct it. And I'm still a part of the problem, apparently, according to them. But once the principal got a hold of the whole situation and got out everybody's statement, and so anyway, that admin got in trouble, and the student was expelled for 2 weeks. and a meeting has to be had with the parents before the student can come back, which now goes into but I don't understand. My child never does anything. She's never been in trouble before. So now the parents also have that sense of, well, she shouldn't be in trouble. She's never been in trouble before. So it's just like this vicious cycle. And all I can think about was like Cody, Rob, and like they've never been held accountable all these years. And now it's like they don't know what to do with everything that they're dealing with. And so I just wanted to peg the question to our audience, when do we hold ourselves accountable for being a part of the problem?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was like this student, I'm looking back on all of the times where I did interact with this student. And I'm just like, oh man, but it was just crazy how I told y'all how kids feel about me. Like them kids love me. And I don't know why she thought it was a good idea to go up there and bash me. I'm the most protected teacher in this county. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But so I just wanted to be like, let's just take inventory of the day-to-day, whatever we're doing in our lives to say, okay, am I part of the problem or am I part of the solution? So now I'm like, got my little handy dandy notebook and I'm like, okay, I can see where I might be a part of the problem on this side of the fence. Okay, I might be the solution over here. Because I just can't raise my kids to go out and be that kind of person in the world.
Well, I mean,
like it's just it was crazy.
Well, because I think that there's a point too where, when you think about like the responsibility of like parents, like I've always tried to take the position that like, I'll protect my kids, I'll defend my kids, but if you do something wrong, then we have to deal with the consequences of whatever it is you did wrong. Like I'm not trying to shield you from the consequences, because again, I think that when you do that, all that happens, and this is just my opinion, I think that all that happens is the only thing you're teaching your kid is that they can do this thing and they can get away with it. The problem is that eventually the thing that they're doing and they're trying to get away with, when they can't get away with it, it can be so big that you no longer have the ability to influence the outcome for them anymore.
Right.
And you'll find yourself sitting in the damn courtroom, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, like I have some connections in my little town with like the police, the chief of police and the council people and all that. I have connections, but I tell my kids all the time, like, look, my little connections ain't gonna mean shit. Because if you go out and you mess up bad enough, the only thing I can do is sit in the damn gallery while the judge reads you off where you going for the next 5 years to 10 years. And all I can do is stand there and cry with everybody else. You understand what I mean? Like, you just setting yourself up for that. You're setting them up.
Yeah. Because, yeah. But I just thought it was hilarious that this all went down on Teacher Appreciation Week. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, why did she think that was a good idea? Like, but then too, I don't know if you follow the comedian Godfrey. He's a Nigerian-born comedian.
Yeah.
And he was very funny. He has this this little thing he does on his social media platforms called Leave Black People Alone. And it's like just full of skits of where Black people are just pushed to the edge. And then when they go off, oh, they're aggressor. They're this, da, 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 da. And then, of course, now the quote unquote aggressor, AKA victim, don't understand. I don't understand why they did this to me. Like the bicycle dude, the guy from Reacher.
Okay.
He has like he shows those type videos, and the segment is called Leave Black People Alone. I said I might need to start one called Leave Teachers Alone. Because we're getting it from the students, we're getting it from the admin, we're getting it from the parents. Like, leave teachers alone. Like, we're not bothering nobody. We're doing our job. We're a safe space for these kids. And then you have kids like her, because that situation could have turned into me saying, you know what, I'm retiring, I quit, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that my students that went off, their biggest fear was, now she's going to quit. Now she's going to leave. And now we're not going to have anybody. And the ones that had to be, pepper sprayed, they don't have anybody else. Like, I'm legit the only reason why they're still even in school trying to get a, degree.
Right.
And so it was like, what is my granddaddy call it? A cat with his back against the wall and nothing to lose. Those were the ones that had to be pretty much carted out of there, bound and tied, hog tied, as they say. And I'm like, guys, I promise you, I'm not going anywhere. It's gonna, like me reassuring them. But I'm like, this is crazy how one person, one individual has literally turned this whole school upside down in a matter of 1 hour. And then I'm just questioning, like, is that how life works? Like, one person has the ability to just make everybody in the building have a shitty day? Like, are you serious?
Right.
So I don't think, James, people realize the power that they wield in their actions. And that's one of the things, like, with your platform, I personally feel like you're doing a damn good job with your platform, but there's some people I feel like, I'm gonna say no names, but they're using their platform for not good reasons. And it's like, oh, damn, James is a part of the solution. He's not a part of the problem.
I appreciate that. Gotta get the word out.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, part of the solution. So anyway, I just had to get that out because my adrenaline still running, because to see a 7-foot tall admin slammed on his neck by a 5-foot tall, 100-pound student, my adrenaline is really pumping.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but
because I think that they're, especially depending on the age of the students, everything when you're young seems like the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy, like how kids are very passionate about things. Like, they're easily moved by things, especially emotionally. They're easily moved. So the threat of losing a teacher or somebody that they rely on seems like the end of the world to them. And the crazy part is, some of those kids would be willing to make life-changing decisions based on that fear or that concern.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So it is, but that's also, again, that also comes back to, as you're enabling people to make these kind of choices, like the one guy who's defending a young lady and enabling her to make those type of choices, you have to look down the road as to what could possibly happen if I continue to enable this kind of behavior. Like, where is this going to go? You know what I mean? Like, because that's it shouldn't. If anything, it shouldn't end in a riot. That's always the worst.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel, James, I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Y'all know I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, right? I felt like Joe Clark. When they was free Mr. Clark, I felt like Joe Clark. I was like, I ain't even gonna low key. I was giggling like, oh shit, like oh, I was giggling a little bit, but I was like, okay, guys, I had to keep my professional face. Because I found out today, I also didn't know that's how our girls basketball team end up forfeiting the rest of their season, because they lost all their players. Right. The reason why they lost the players is because that admin forced our basketball coach to put that student on the team. And when he told the coach, the girl didn't have to try out like everybody else. The girl halfway showed up to practice. She did nothing. Like, she came and went as she pleased. And the coach was told, you cannot kick her off the team. And when she shows up, you have to let her play. So the coach quit, and the team, all the players quit except for 2 other players. So they had to, and I found all that out today. And I'm like, what? So his enabling this child is so bad to the point where we've actually lost staff members. And half of our basketball team transferred to other schools. And these were like I hate to say it that way, but these were like the IB students. They're the ones that are basically bringing the money to our school, because the only reason why we're getting like the extra funding and all this other stuff is because of these students. These are, college level students that are here at our school, and then all of them leave. So like
Right.
it's crazy. Like I don't know the connection with him and the student. I have no clue. I'm not gonna throw accusations out there on people, but the level of enabling that he does for this child has caused people to quit. And I think that's why the students reacted, because they knew, like, oh, our basketball coach quit. They knew all of this. I had no idea. And their fear was, okay, now, Miss Suggs is going to quit now too.
Right.
And so here I am, like, no. Like, I'm giggling. I'm still giggling to myself, but no, guys, like, it's going to be okay. I promise you, we're going to work it out. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And
Right.
it was only until I stepped in that kind of the melee kind of calmed down a little bit, but the damage is done.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the damage is already done. And I was fearing for, like, my seniors. Like, they only have 2 weeks of school left until not to graduation, but until they're done. And so I'm like, you don't want this action to cost you not to graduate. Like, you've done we have put in too much effort and work to let somebody like her cause you not to graduate.
Right.
So that also calmed down a whole lot of the crazy. But it's just, I shouldn't even have to be doing that when let's hold her accountable. And now you need to be held accountable so everybody can coexist peacefully. Like, it makes no sense. And then these kids were saying, well, she can get caught doing the exact same thing, but we get, in school detention, or we get, expelled, and she gets nothing. And then when we come back, we have to listen to her taunt us like, yeah, that's why y'all got suspended. Oh yeah, I didn't get suspended. Like, it's crazy.
Right.
So I'm just like, wow. But it's crazy, James. But I just wanted to just give y'all that little story, little tidbit on how enabling and not holding people accountable, it affects a whole community, not just your little circle. Like, it affects a whole community.
No, I believe you. Well, thank you for
sir.
calling in. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for taking y'all let me vent in my safe space. See, I'm having a rough day at work, and I have a safe space to come and vent to, and no judgment zone.
Right.
And y'all understand what I'm going through. Y'all understand the pain. And I get positive feedback. So it's a win-win-win.
There you go. Not many places you get that. So
that part. That part. James for the next tell-all.
Yeah, right. You're right. We're gonna yell, make them cry. That's the
not have them running off the stage like Maury. I'm gonna be the cameraman. Let me be the cameraman.
That's what I'm saying. I have my B guy, the guy on the B camera. He be in a pair of sneakers because we chasing their asses down. We're gonna chase you off too.
Yes, I'm here for it. Yes, let's make it happen. TLC, we know y'all are watching. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, right. There'll be some guys, those former cameramen from Cops. Them guys can chase anybody.
Right.
Nobody get away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get a couple body cams too. Get body cams so you can have the body cam footage. The shaky camera.
Right.
Get all the angles. Spike Lee. Yes, sir. But thank you for taking my call, James. I'll let somebody else call in. And thank you guys, My Take family. I love you guys. Don't forget Teacher Appreciation Week. Send them a note. Send them a thank you, email, anything. We appreciate you. We need the encouragement, y'all.
Yeah.
Because these kids, look, these parents and kids is taking us through there, as the kids said. They taking us through there.
All right. You have a good one,
Thank
Megan.
you.
I'll talk to you.
You too.
Awesomeness. We have Linda. What's going on, Linda? How you doing?
Hi, everybody. I miss you all. How is everybody doing? Megatron, you just made my night, girl. Oh my God, flashbacks. When you said that a 5'3" skinny little thing took down a 7 foot person, Lord, that brought back memories because I hated to fight short people and skinny people because they will fight you to the damn death and possibly beat your ass.
Right.
So the topic is enabling.
Hmm.
Oh Lord. Okay. Sit down, make yourself comfortable, go get a cup of tea, go get a cup of coffee. So in my hospital, that seems to be the norm. And what they do is they recycle. It's just so crazy. So I was in my calendar was plopped in this mandatory 90-minute supervisor presentation from central office, right?
Right.
And I was annoyed as hell. And they're going over, and as they're going over it and they're saying what they're saying, I'm like, how many cases, which maybe one or two, did I have to bring with problematic staff? Now, when I mean problematic, here's the thing. They take the policy and the procedure, they take key words and use that to cover all of their horrible behavior. So picture this 4 years ago. Your girl Linda, she sounds rough and tough, but she always trying to look out for somebody, always trying to help somebody, and always get bit in the ass later on. So there was this young lady that worked at another hospital, code medical records like me. She had been reaching out to me. She, wanted to be a union shop steward, and she was frustrated at work, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is in coding where we code the medical records. There's different levels, ER, ambulatory surgery, inpatient, and I was AmSurg. Now, I knew she had her credentials for inpatient. So when I spoke to her, I said, listen, I don't have any opening, but, you could look, everything is online. You could look at other facilities. If I ever had an opening, it would be AmSurg. So she checked back like a couple of months later, blah, blah, blah. So like a year later, she reached out to me. She had gotten her credentials to code AmSurg. So I was like more than impressed. I'm like, this girl really wants to move because it's like a year of school. Then you have to take your exam.
Mhm.
And, it's if you don't do it through the union, it could be pretty expensive and they don't do it all the time. Right. So
Right.
I was like, okay, I'm more impressed. I'm really going to keep her in mind. Something open. So during COVID, there was two openings in my department because one person had lab credentials. They went to the lab. Another person decided to work at a facility that was close to home where they could walk. So they didn't have to worry about public transportation. She was going to start when I got a month off because there was this thing with taking the COVID vaccine. I was on the fence and they made it mandatory. All right. She was working there. We were talking on the phone, blah, blah, blah. She had told me that my director put her in inpatient to help with inpatient. I'm like, how could she put her in inpatient when there's only one person doing AmSurg? Remember, I'm out. I get back. I get back. The visits were like up to like 400, which never. And my one remaining staff person is having a fit. And the reason we're having a fit is we start the revenue cycle. So that's like our responsibility. And if you have visits backed up, you're holding up revenue. So I come in. Meanwhile, my director's calling me, am I going to stay or am I going to retire? Like she had plans. She and I used to have a good relationship until I realized how grimy she was. And then I saw how grimy she was. So I get back. I call, I have a meeting with him, like, what's going on? My visits are up to 400. No, they're not. Check it. There's only like maybe 75. Why? Because you shipped it to the outside coders the day before I came back. And you have to, this individual who's supposed to be in my department. Oh, well, that's what she wanted to do. And, that's what I decided to do. I said, but that wasn't the agreement. And that wasn't what was open for her. So she ended up back in my department. Now, I knew she was problematic, but the problematic with things that I thought she had a reason to be. And I'm training her. We're like, just really refreshed, just checking her work. There were little errors here and there. And then one day I want to sit down and correct something. The girl totally freaked out. You're training me wrong, this, that, and the other. I don't know how to blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no. They don't do cardiac catheterizations where you're from. This is why I need to train you. She went and she made this big show, like yelling and carrying on. And I just looked at her, I'm like, oh, okay. With the stress of COVID, worrying about my family, I'm like, all right, I don't have time for this. Let it rock. Couple of days later, she kept doing the work. Couple of days later, I had to correct something. I said, let me just put it in an email. Put it in an email. She answers me back with some really fresh response. I'm like, okay, strike 2. When it hit strike 3, I forgot what it was. I went in and I told my director, I said, listen, this is not working out. All of a sudden, she doesn't know how to code AmSurge. All of a sudden, she can't take any training guidance. All of a sudden, you can't give her feedback. I don't have I don't have the temperament for that. Nobody should have the temperament for that. That girl, she doesn't belong here. Well, you're very difficult and you're very demanding. I'm like, hold on. My profession, I have to be difficult and demanding because if we make an error, it's looked as fraud. Then we have IG on our ass. Then we have Medicare on our ass. We really cannot afford to make mistakes, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at her and I'm like, no. And this behavior of yelling and carrying on and sending these emails, no, that's not acceptable. I said, we're gonna need to have a meeting because I'm just gonna send her back. So when sending her back is when you transfer from one facility to another, you're on probation again. And it's sort of like a 6-month probation. The 3 months is seeing if you fit, and the 6 months is if you stay or don't. At this point, I'm like, she's out. I'm not bringing chaos here. And as I'm talking to my director, she flew into the office, started carrying on. Oh, you're just trying to blackball me and blackmail me, but I know about you. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, what do you mean you know? I rescued you from your other facility because supposedly you weren't happy there. You were being abused. So you think I brought you here so you could do this nonsense or whatever the hell it is you're doing here? And she said something, and then my boss agreed with her in front of her. And I said, okay, I'm smelling a rat. So the young lady that I helped is like, well, I already made a complaint to labor relations and to the union about you. I'm like, what complaint? That I'm training you, that I tried to help you? Unbeknownst to me, this girl took the verbiage from the policy and procedure, the verbiage from the violence in the workplace, and wrote up this whole report that I was bullying her and harassing her, and I'm retaliating against her. And I just literally called labor. I'm like, did you get this? Did you get this complaint? Well, you could rip it up because I'm not even giving anyone the courtesy of a meeting. And I told him, because I knew him, I had a relationship with him because, of course, as a union rep, I would have to defend other members. So it was like it seems like my director's idea was she thought that would make me leave. I'm like, you don't know me. I will go toe to toe with God and the devil. I don't back down. And she went and made such a stink that I had issues with the union, and then I had issues with my director. And I says, well, I'm going to tell you this. If you want to keep her. No, I didn't tell. I says, I had told her that I wasn't going to keep her. So the next day, because I had already gotten the tickler from, that I had to write the report. The next day, when I went to write the evaluation for her to go back, she wasn't appearing in my queue as my staff. She was under my directors. So I got up and I said, she's under you. Make sure you put her someplace where she works because she's not working for me. And I said it with the door closed, because if she verbally attacks me one more time and you agree with her, I will wipe this whole motherfucking hospital with the both of you. And I could have been, if she was recording it, or if I said it loud enough, or if I heard people, I would have been fired. She must have taken me very seriously because she kept her as her supervisor for almost a year. Then she gave her to the inpatient. Let me tell you, my Take family, she has made this girl a living hell for the past 4 years. That now her case, she filed a discrimination case, a retaliation case. And while I'm doing that training with central office, I'm like, yeah, retaliation is a really misused word. We need to take that out of our policy and procedure because there's many, many, many staff that are hiding behind that. And let me tell you something. I don't understand, maybe because I don't have that malice, James, but I don't understand. If you're an investigator, if you're a lawyer, If I send you, James, an email and you're my staff and Megatron and everybody like I'm sending, and this is the work you need to do, and you're the one that responds and says, oh, why are you giving me the hardest cases? You're always doing this, you're retaliating against me. Where the fuck is the retaliation?
Right.
Do you know that her case is in oath? It's pending a decision from the judge. She put that girl, what she did to me, that she only got away with it for a month, she's done to that girl for 3 years, and there's no way to send her back. So in the interim, throughout these years, you know, the inpatient super was like, oh, you know, the director had to move her because she was giving her a lot of pushback and was being disrespectful. I said, so why did she write her up and get rid of her? So for her, my director not following the policy and procedure, we have this nightmare in our department. And she has, even though she's 100% remote, because we're 90%, we got to come in 1 day a week. She got a EEO, a reasonable accommodation. She couldn't come in. I'm at the eye doctor after I work yesterday, and that supervisor calls me. She's now filing a workman's compensation because, get ready for this shit. And it's a valid filing. I'm almost quoting verbatim. There is a medical note that I have in my file that my supervisor cannot talk to me or communicate with me in any way, shape, or form. And she has been doing that lately, and it causes an anxiety attack, which raises my blood pressure.
Huh.
How in the hell? And this is what I mean when people twist these policies out. Now, had my director done what she was supposed to do, it's like I didn't see her today, but I was really taking a chance because I was gonna go in and rip her a new one. Like, you know, you put this girl through hell because you wanted to keep this demon thinking that she was gonna get rid of me. And look at what she's done to this department. She gets other people involved in her stuff. And it's just a freaking nightmare. It's like, if I were to catch this hoe on the street, you don't know what I would do to her. But it's like getting back enabling. So my director enabled this girl and empowered her so much that now everything she files, the hospital has to thoroughly investigate and take their time and go over it and go through the whole process. And it's been 4 damn years from 2021. Because it really started in 2021, is now 2026. She's been filing 4 years. Her case has been an oath. So oath is like they're like arbitrators, but they're judicial arbitrators. So their decision is binding,
Right.
where it's taken out of the hands of labor relations at the facility. I'm so glad you had this today because I need to get this shit off my chest. Because I feel responsible that my colleague is being put through hell because this dumbass wanted to help somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are things that are put in place, and sometimes you call yourself doing somebody a favor, and you wind up getting smashed out. So if you overlook certain things or you let certain things go, it can actually bite you later on. Yeah, and they just use it as a way to bite you. Because it'll be like she'll say like say she was doing something wrong, she didn't get punished. Like, okay, well, we're gonna overlook that, we're gonna let it go, we're gonna try to coach her or at least, you know, get her to do something different or do it the right way, blah blah blah. And then because you may change her, like just as an example, you may change her assignment, then all of a sudden, oh, you're retaliating against me for something that I perceived that I did wrong, but you're mad at me for some reason, and now I'm being punished.
Yep.
And when she brings that case, the facility's argument is going to be, yeah, but we're doing this because you were failing in some way, or we had to make a change because of something you did. And in the fallback defense that they would automatically have because it's built in is if there was a problem, where's your documentation? Where was she written up? Where was she disciplined? Like, where was the conference? Where was the coaching? You understand what I mean? So it's sometimes even by like not, you know, supervisors giving a break, sometimes that break can come back and bite you and hurt you.
Yep. It's like you got to be, you really can't have a heart anymore and do good things because the caliber of people is unreal. And like, when I say it was problematic, because she was, she had filed a case that she shouldn't have, but the union backed her on it just to go through the steps just so she could be denied, right?
Right.
So once you put that wing in her, that air in her wings, then she just out of frustration was doing other stuff, but I wasn't aware of it because nobody, the reps didn't tell me, she's not a good person, because after I hired, I got her hired and she was in my department, a rep that had represented him once said, "Oh my God, why did you hire her? Why didn't you call me?" I said, "Why would I call you? What's going on?" "Well, yeah, but you represented her in a case where the union was really pulling her leg. They weren't being truthful. Instead of saying you don't have a grievance, you don't have a case, they let it rock." He says, "Oh no," because after that, she kept filing after filing and filing. And I had finally asked her, why she's doing this. And her response was, "I know you can't help me, but ultimately I'm trying to wear them down so she'll quit and I could get her job." I said, "Well, now you tell me, because I would have never brought someone like that into a work environment.
Right.
Never."
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my God. But it's the
Yeah.
enabling. And that's where, with kids, you got to be careful. You really got to nip things in the bud. And I think now more than before, like, I'm sure when you were a kid like me, or you got the look, right? If you did something, you got the look, you knew what that look meant. Your mom and dad didn't have to open up their mouth, right?
Right. Right.
You over somebody's house and they offer you food. What do?
Yeah, you look at your parents, or you say no thank you.
Right.
You know?
Right. "Oh, you want to go and play with this toy? What do? You look at the parents.
Right.
Now, it's like these kids act grown, and it's like you really have to be a nice, strict disciplinarian, because if you start letting them get away and, oh, they're so cute and all they're this, you're going to be raising up monsters.
Right.
Raising up monsters to the sense that I don't know who else is watching. I think it's on Investigation Discovery. My child was the killer.
Mm-hmm.
And the case that I saw yesterday blew my mind. This like 16-year-old decided that his like 3-year-old sister or 4-year-old sister had to die. How
Wow.
he convinced the babysitter to leave. Now the mom left the babysitter there, right? He's in high school and she's like a toddler, or that young. He convinced the babysitter to leave, hit his sister on the head, waking her up, and then stabbed her 17 times.
Damn.
And I'm like, that shit did not come out of thin air. What did you let this kid get away with? Did you let him get away with roughhousing, with pushing her, with being a bully? It's like, you really have to think that far out, because I don't know, James, I believe that we are living in a world now where anything is possible. The most craziest thing is possible. I got this psycho nut that she has filed with everyone. Now it's workman's comp. I'm like, I don't understand what all these policies, and then, what they presented today. I'm like, well, okay, well, there's the explanation for that and that. Why didn't anyone take that action? It's like they just let things rock, and you're letting these people destroy the morale of the workplace. They're bringing everybody down, but you just want to see, you're letting it play out instead of nipping shit in the bud, and I don't get it. I
Right.
literally wrote to this. She's the general counsel. I'm like, I gave her a brief synopsis. I'm like, why has this lingered for 4 years? Why is this person getting away with this? What about the mental health and the stability of the supervisor that she's attacking? Does she count for anything?
Mm-hmm.
That lady calls me, I'm going to let her know, So they're worried about employee on employee violence, but this is one of the reasons why.
Right. Right.
All this enabling, you gotta be careful when you give chances. You gotta be careful. It's like you really have to think the worst thing, especially with the little ones. Like, I give it to my niece. My niece does not let the kids put hands on each other. You got to go and tell her. Her brother. So my niece has 2 kids. Well, she has 3 because she had a baby last November. Liam is like about 8. Camila's like about 5. So, that 3-year difference could be a problem sometimes. I don't know what Camila did. Liam turned around and just slapped her on the hand. My sister grabbed that boy, the back of his neck, so fast and had him in the room. and gave him a talking to and whatever. He had to apologize to his sister, and he knows he can never do that again. Neither her to him. Like, she makes sure that none of that physical BS happens.
Right.
And, you know, like, oh, well, you're hitting them. No. Oh, you hit them. You're showing them. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you know what? Pain makes you think.
Mm.
If it burns, if I put your hand on the fire, it's going to burn, right? You're not going to do it again? Okay. So, yeah, that's my story on enabling, on people taking advantage. I'm going to say a hoorah to Megatron's kids, because you know what? They're protecting one of the only people that gives a good goddamn about them, that's going to help them, that's guiding them, that's going to help them through life. So I give it to them because they are protecting someone who protects them. That's what that is. And that student, I don't know. I would send an anonymous tip. I would report that administrator because there's something super fishy there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. That administrator is probably taking advantage of that girl, and that's why she's doing what she's doing. Listen, DM me the information. I'll make the call for you. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm loving the new format. Because even though I couldn't call, you know, I've been like crazy busy all of a sudden. And I'm like, damn, these are good topics. And I couldn't. I'm like, yeah, this is the way we need to go, you know, until we can't hold it in anymore. And the season of these demons starts again if they haven't been canceled.
Yeah, I haven't seen any promos for them. I mean, I've seen like where cast members have done.
I don't have TLC, so you could tell me. I don't have TLC.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been any
promos. Well, because I don't have TLC either, but usually like things will pop up. Like if they do a sponsored promo from TLC, it'll usually pop up on YouTube or somebody will have a video about it.
Got it.
But yeah, I haven't seen anything from from TLC. Like I've heard Christine talk about the next season, McKelty and all them, but I don't know if that's for sure or wish casting, because even if they filmed you, that doesn't necessarily mean it's another season.
Yeah, they'll leave it in the can and they'll never see the light of day.
Right. Doesn't necessarily mean another season. So
I hope. Okay.
We shall see.
All right. So I'm going to say adios, people. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Get out the way so the next person could talk.
All right. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Awesomeness. Guys, I'm going to have to cut it short. Well, not cut it short, because I'm trying to limit these lives to about an hour and a half, because they have to be a little more consumable for people on the rewatches, because typically like the 2 hour to 5 hour rewatches are greatly ignored. So that's why I had to cut the phone calls. But we will be back on Saturday for the roundtable, and we will be back next Tuesday for the call-in show, and then again for the SpeakPipe show. All right, but before we go, I want to make sure we get the hearts in the chat. For people who don't know, we have a hearts in the chat segment where we try to support people from our community who may be having difficult times, just need that extra support. So we just like to put hearts in the chat in general to support everybody who may need it. You know, like some things are going on. Money's kind of tight. The economy is a little jacked up. In some cases, people are doing well. Other cases, not so much. So we want to make sure we're kind of getting everybody where they need to be. So, but even in regard to that, we have specific people that we want to give hearts in the chat to. That kind of came to my attention. We have Negla 3, Brittany Not Brittany, Jody Periscala, Carmel Cuties, Megatron, Miss Betty, Kathy Ferran, Allison Gaines, Marlo Peterson, and team Ty, Lit Mom, Susie Q. All right. But thank you guys so much for that. Let's put some hearts in the chat for those individuals. Let me put some hearts in the chat as well. There you go. Let's see. And we had a super chat, I think, came in. Oh, Carmel Cuties. Carmel Cuties with the $2 super chat. Hate to miss it tonight. See you Saturday. Yes. Make sure you come through Saturday. If you have a membership, come through Saturday. Carmel Cuties will be there. Sometimes we have a local arts witch. Every now and again, we get Megatron. I'm telling you, it's a good time. So come on through, check it out. It's a lot of fun. All right, but thank you so much, Carmel Cuties. Let me give you a little something. Appreciate you. Then I have to rip and roll. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Make sure you tip your bartenders and waitresses on the way out. If you're going on a Carnival cruise and you order the drink package, by all means, take responsibility for yourself. Be your own hero. If you sign up for the drink package and you want to have a bunch of drinks, make sure that you are keeping yourself safe. Just because, like I said, don't be cheap like me where you just sitting there trying to drink your fill and overdrink, and then I'm going to make sure I get my money's worth. If you start to feel woozy, then you just going to have to take an L for the day. That's just my rule. All right, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. That's my take. This has been my take on reality, and I'm out. Oh, and I'm out.